Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Dave. Welcome to Aroid District. I know it's been a minute, but do you all remember this? This here is my first ever Monstera Thai Constellation. Y'all remember I used to complain about this plant a lot. I used to call it the Thai Constellation that will never grow, because that was just the truth. This plant had a persistent root rot issue, and that is a common issue when it comes to Monstera Thai Constellations. I tried everything. I started out with soil, the roots rotted. I propagated it after it rotted, and I grew it in semi-hydro. It still rotted when it came around to the summertime. And the third time I tried something new, and it actually worked. So basically, growing this Monstera Thai Constellation in Pafcal is what solved all of my issues. Take a look at the plant. Pafcal is that media that I have been ranting and raving about on my channel. It is like a spongy material, and roots that need a lot of aeration and roots that are prone to root rot really love this stuff. So that was the remedy of pretty much saving this Monstera Thai Constellation. Mind you, I did have this plant for just about 3 years, and it just now started to put out new leaves with fenestrations after I repotted it into this type of media. So once I found out that Pafcal is what saves Thai constellations that have root rot issues, I decided to buy me another Monstera Thai Constellation. And this Monstera Thai Constellation is popping. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I got the best Monstera Thai Constellation. So don't act like you don't remember when I bought that little Thai Constellation seedling. I got it for like 80 bucks. And remember when I told you, when it comes to Thai cons, what you see is what you get when it comes to variegation. Well, that little seedling, here it is now. Oh yeah, I got a real legit Thai Constellation. And yeah, this thing is just on its way. It's about to get bigger than me. And I did buy that seedling, I think late last year. So from a little seedling plug to about, I would say, 7 or 8 months of growth, this is where we're at. Now, starting over and getting a new Thai Constellation, I can say that this one grows very consistently because, right from the seedling phase, I put it in this Pafcal mixture. So y'all get into the roots. So that is what saved my Monstera Thai Constellation. Now, this Pafcal mixture is a spongy material, and what I did to stretch it or to make more or to provide even more aeration was I added a little bit of Leca and Perlite to that Pafcal mix, and that's what's in this pot here. And the roots are going crazy. I gotta go ahead and repot this one into a bigger container because I want this Thai Constellation to maximize even more. So when it comes to the care of the Monstera Thai Con versus the Monstera deliciosa, the only difference is the airflow. The Monstera Thai Con needs a lot more airflow compared to the Monstera deliciosa. Remember, they are the same plant. This is just a tissue cultured, variegated version. The thing is, it was made in a lab, and it has an issue where the roots will rot. Therefore, you need to provide it with more airflow. So if you have yours in soil, go ahead and let that soil dry out so that these roots can get some time with some good airflow. Or you can do what I'm doing, which is switch up the media if you are actually having issues with yours. So, different batches of these come out of the lab. Some of them are more prone to root rot than others. But overall, the only way to just combat that is to provide it with some type of airflow. Now, we're going to repot this one, and my whole purpose for the media that I'm using is to provide moisture with good airflow. So let's get into repotting this one. So we are sticking with a clear pot because I want to be able to check up on these roots. So I'm going to repot it into this one, which is quite a bit bigger, but I actually burned in some drainage holes on the bottom and also some drainage holes along the side. Aeration. When it comes to the main bulk of the potting media, this is the tag for Pafcal. You can look this stuff up on Amazon. I tried to sell it myself, but you know, logistic wise, it was, you know, some issues. But when it comes to Pafcal, this is the savior. Okay, so these roots have gripped into the Pafcal mix quite a bit. So when it comes to repotting this, what I want to do is kind of loosen up the coils along the bottom of this formation and then just repot it. I don't want to disturb everything on the inside of this root mass. You feel me? So that's far as I'll go as far as loosening up the roots, just the roots that have coiled around the bottom. I kind of loosen that up, and that's as far as we'll go. We'll sit this right here and we'll start on the mix. I got my bag of Pafcal. I'll go ahead and pour quite a bit of that into here, into this container. That's not enough. That's all I'm gonna use. This stuff is not cheap, so therefore I'm a little bit stingy with it, and that is the reason why I'm going to amend it with Leca and Perlite. Yeah, we gotta conserve this shit. And from there, we're gonna just start adding in Perlite. Measurements do not have to be exact. You know, this is already gonna provide the moisture that you need. Adding in Perlite and Leca and all of that kind of stuff just adds more aeration. And if it dries out too much, you can always adjust the mix. But overall, I ain't got no measurements. I can just eyeball it and tell how much amendments I want in here. So I feel like I put a quarter amount of Perlite in here. I think that'll be good enough. Let's mix that into the Pafcal. And then you know what? The Leca is going to be the filler. That kind of bulks it up so we have enough of the potting media. Here is my bag of leftover Leca. Let's pour some in it. That was a little less than half. So this is what it looks like. But you know what? Don't forget the seasoning salt. This is a little bit of Osmocote slow release fertilizer. Sprinkle a little bit of that on in there. A little seasoning salt, and then we all good to go. Let's pot this Monstera up. So you all do know that this stuff can be used as a semi-hydro, or it can be used just like you would regular soil. So you just, this one has drainage, so I'm kind of using it as regular soil because I don't want the water reservoir for a Thai Constellation. I feel like that's not really beneficial for a Monstera Thai Constellation. This plant does not soak up water at a rapid rate. It can act, it has some succulent properties to it. So yeah, I don't want a water reservoir. By the way, speaking of Thai Constellation, the YouTube channel Pretty and Green, he has a very good video on the Monstera Thai Con, just talking about the history and also talking about the little beef he had with another YouTuber. And when I tell you, it was hilarious. But the dude from Pretty and Green, you a wild boy, because you did something in your video that had me dying. I was rolling because he was talking about the Thai Con. And the dude who was kind of trying to debunk everything that he was saying had his Thai Con on the video, and Pretty and Green just kind of like zoomed in on the other dude's Thai Con. And the reason why I started laughing is because his Thai Con didn't have a constellation. It was just green with just a couple little specks. It wasn't like variegated. like this one. And I just thought it was hilarious. Like, why'd you zoom in on his Tycon like that? Yeah, y'all wild, I tell you. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I got a little base, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and stick this in here and fill it up. Okay, so we're all done. This is how it looks. This is some type of food container that I cut holes in. It has drainage on the bottom. This is how the top of it looks with the Pafcal media. It has Leca, Perlite, Osmocote, slow release fertilizer. And yeah, this is how the plant looks. We're all set up. I feel like I could let this plant just rock for another year or two, just like this, until I see that the roots have just completely filled up this pot right here. Then I'll go ahead and do this again. But tips for Monstera Thai Constellation: if you're purchasing one, do not buy a grower's choice. Always buy the one where you can see the exact plant that you're going to be getting, because like I said, it is very, very, very true. What you see is what you get. So if you see a little seedling that's showing signs of good variegation, when it gets older, that's exactly what it's going to put out. If you see one that only has a couple little specks of variegation, when it gets older, it may look just like that. So that is very true when it comes to Thai constellations. Well, that concludes our Monstera Thai Constellation segment. But up next, I got some things to talk about, and I got a couple plants that I want to show you, so stick around. Okay, so I'm back, and let me explain something to y'all. I haven't been able to post the amount of content that I normally post because I've been busy and I've been traveling a bit. I was out there on the East Coast, and I got a chance to visit one of my favorite plant shops, Ill Exotics, up there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I was able to stop by that shop, and the vibes were crazy. I first heard about that plant shop on Summer Rain Oaks channel, and it was just a pleasure of mine to be able to stop by there and shop around. Very inspirational. So upon touring that shop, they just, they had a good collection for sale, and they had like amazing displays. So check this little clip out. This was my experience up at Ill Exotics plant shop. So when I was at Ill Exotics, I was looking for a particular philodendron. It was the Philodendron Ricardoi, and I knew that Ill Exotics carried it, but once I got to the shop, they didn't have it in store. But they were kind enough to offer to drive to a whole nother location to get it and bring it to me. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna be sticking around for that long. But I ended up buying an Anthurium hybrid instead. And here it is here. I forgot the name of it, but I know that it is an Anthurium moodianum crossed with Ace of Spades. And I forgot the name that the name that they gave it. But here it is here. By the way, it was big and beautiful when I first purchased it. I had to travel on the plane with it. And I propagated. Y'all know me. I cut it up and made it into I multiplied it, all right? After propagating it, I guess they're doing fine. This one has a new leaf on the way. And this one has a new leaf on the way as well. But, we got some yellowing on this leaf up here. So I'm curious to see what these do once they kind of get mature. I'll let y'all know what's going on. So after traveling, I came home and I had to face a little dilemma. And I felt like I wanted to share with y'all because it does relate to my plants. But pretty much here in Los Angeles, I own two properties. I own this home here, and I have a multi-unit property across town. Well, one of the families in that multi-unit decided to move out and break her lease. It was a whole entire ghetto situation, so I allowed her go ahead and break her lease. And upon her moving out, I went to go over to the property to check it out, and the family completely trashed my property. I walked into the unit and it was just, I just never saw this level of nastiness. Like, you know, scraps of food all in the corners of the floor. The wood flooring was damaged. The window sills is damaged. Holes in the wall from ripping down the blinds. And even when I walked into the bathroom, the toilet was just off the hinges. They ripped the toilet up off of the hinges somehow. I don't know, but I was like, damn. Because it's like you gotta have a whole lot of ass to just tear the lining off of a whole big toilet. Like, I was just amazed at what I was seeing. And on top of that, to top it all off, they left my property with a cockroach infestation. So I'm in a dilemma right now because I have to restore that unit. I cannot rent that unit out to another family in the condition that it's in. It's going to take about 3 or 4 months for me to eradicate the cockroach infestation, on top of digging into my own personal savings to do all of these repairs and renovations. So I got backed up against the wall, and I think I am going to have to move out of this home and move into that unit until I can fix everything, you know. So it's a little bit of a challenging situation because all the profits that I had from that property, I have to use them towards covering that other mortgage, a second mortgage on top of the mortgage from this house. So pretty much life is throwing me a little 1-2 punch, but best believe I'm gonna get my lick back. All right. So what I'm gonna do right now is prepare a couple of these plants that I really love, just in case they get neglected. There's one plant that I highly recommend because this plant is definitely the answer to a lot of problems that y'all have. So we all love a good Philodendron verrucosum, correct? I mean, I do. Like, verrucosums are becoming one of my favorite types of Philodendron. But I mean, obviously they're kind of hard to care for. Most of the verrucosum varieties are cloud forest plants, so they need like a temperature drop at night. That's a whole big issue. A lot of us love the look of them, but we just can't really take care of them, you know. But this one particular verrucosum, it's actually a hybrid. And when I tell you it has all the perks of the verrucosum look, but it is really easy to care for. So I have right here, this is a verrucosum crossed with a Philodendron serpens. So serpens cross verrucosum. And check this out. This is a new emergent leaf. Look at all that color. And then you have these crazy fuzzy petioles that comes from the serpens genetics. That's crazy. Look, you got a red back, crazy velvet, and a lot of fuzz on the stem. This is a great choice. This is a great choice of a plant. And let me tell you, I imported this one. So it was able to acclimate really well and it started growing nice big California leaves. So this is the leaf that I imported it with, and soon after acclimation, it grew this smaller leaf right here, and then this big California leaf right here. So the importation leaf can go ahead and come off. Thank you for your services. So this is the portion of the plant that I really want to get set up, and I want to give it a moss pole because I feel like if I put this type of plant on a moss pole, it will grow stronger and more hardier, and that's what I'm going to need, being that I may be moving. So yeah, let's do that right now. Okay, y'all, I do have 2 of them. I did cut the import up and propagate it, and the reason why I'm saying that this plant is the answer to a lot of problems when it comes to a verrucosum is because it's already proven to me. I've grown this one outdoors, and this one has grown indoors. So this one making it through the heat wave and this one dealing with indoor conditions, I feel like this is a hardy hybrid, being that it grew in 2 extreme conditions. But what I am going to do is, just to keep everything easier for me, I'm going to pot both of these in the same pot. I have a little black colored pot with a black color moss pole, and that's how I'm gonna set this one up and call it a day. All right, so I do have this one set up. This is the Varicosum crossed with Serpens hybrid, and I feel like this is the best situation for the dilemma. You know, I have both cuttings potted in this pot. I use like a Pafcal mix, and I added in sphagnum moss. I feel like that'll keep, you know, some good aeration, and it'll stay moist for a longer period of time. And hopefully both of these plants will root into this moss pole, and it'll be much more hardy. So this is the setup. I'll get a little bit of B-roll footage on it. And you know, that was just my whole attempt of getting this set up before I end up moving, so that the plant can remain hardy and I don't end up losing it in the process of relocating. Now here is another philodendron that is starting to do well after, you know, a few months of acclimation. This right here, this is another Varicosum crossed with Fibrosum. We already know how difficult the Fibrosums are, but when I got this Varicosum crossed with Fibrosum, it seemed to be a lot easier. At first it was giving me trouble, and I had like you know, yellowing of I think a couple leaves during the acclimation process, and just within the past couple months I started getting new growth like this. Check that out. And then it has you know, the apical bud right there. So we want to go ahead and save this one too, since it seems to be pretty hardy. I want to get this old nasty Ecuagenera leaf off, and the leaves that grew out here, we'll go ahead and let those go up. So first order of operation, we got to get this ugly ass leaf off. So bye-bye acclimation leaf, and we're left with this, and we'll have this one growing up as healthy as it can be. Okay, I have this one in a clear container with no drainage. Put it on a black moss pole, and you know, when it's under the light, the leaves will start to turn and face the light, and then we'll have it facing forward, and this will be a nice little display for the time being. So once these roots, there are some little aerial roots at this node right here, once they start to go into this pole, I think this plant will become very hardy and grow large size leaves. And this actually, look, the velvet on this plant is insane. It is crazy. Yeah, this is a nice little classy look on this Varicosum hybrid crossed with what is it, Fibrosum. So yeah, that's that one. And those are the two main plants that I wanted to just set up before I end up moving out of this house. All right. So that's pretty much all I have for y'all today. I mean, life is beautiful. These plants are, you know, doing some things during the summertime. I'll tell you this, when it comes to Hoya, a lot of my Hoya just have been blooming. At least like almost half of the Hoya that I have, they either have peduncles or they have already bloomed. So I try to, you know, if I notice it, if I catch the blooms, I try to take a little picture and post it on Instagram or what have you. But it is an exciting thing to see. So I know when it comes to the summer, the Hoyas are going up. A lot of the other plants are going up. Few of the Anthuriums are struggling because they don't like the heat. But everything is still all good. But you know what? I didn't forget. We have the off-topic question of the day. Yes, we do. My off-topic question of the day is, would you rather be the best at one thing or just mediocre good at a lot of things? That's a deep one right there. That is a deep one right there. I think me and one of my family members had this conversation before, so I thought I'd pose the question to y'all. So once again, would you rather be the best at one thing? And what I mean by being the best at one thing, I really mean just the best at one thing, meaning that you don't do many other things very well, or mediocre at a lot of things. And I'm gonna tell you now, I'd rather be the best at one thing. There's a lot that comes with being the best at one thing. Just imagine if you were the best chef in the world. I mean, you're gonna have TV shows, you're gonna get accolades. It's gonna be a crazy life for you. That could be good or bad, but it's gonna be a crazy life for you, being that you are the best at that. If you are the best singer in the world, you're gonna be world renowned as the best singer. But if you're just mediocre at a lot of different things, then that's pretty much my life now. That's pretty much my life now. I can do a lot of things. You know, I do have a lot of talents, but I've always felt like I was mediocre at those numerous things. But being the best at one thing, clutch, straight clutch. But y'all gotta tell me what y'all think. Let me know how your plants are doing this summer, and definitely post your answer to the off-topic question of the day. But I am Dave. This is Aroid District. Until next time, I'll see y'all again.